So I wanted to focus this series on music theory, and there are already plenty of videos on YouTube about the different ukulele sizes, but the names of the ukulele types don't really make sense, and I wanted to shed some light on that. There are 4 basic categories of instruments. There's baritone, tenor, alto, and soprano. Like in an orchestra, for example, the brass instruments will have tuba, which is a baritone, trombone is a tenor, French horn is an alto, and trumpet is a soprano. In the strings, you have bass, cello, viola, violin. In the woodwinds, you have bassoon, clarinet, oboe, flute. And even in the voice, there is baritone, tenor, alto, and soprano. And quite often, there are more instruments than just those 4. There's like saxophone, which comes in tenor and alto sax. And there are things in between, like mezzo-soprano and contralto. But those 4 types are pretty good for understanding the basic pitch ranges of instruments. And that's the important thing, that these instruments are separated by their ability to hit different pitches. Like a baritone can hit lower notes than a soprano can hit higher notes than a baritone. On a ukulele, you have 4 types: a baritone, a tenor, a concert, and a soprano. First off, why did they call it a concert and not an alto? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But it's just the way it is. I don't know why. A lot of things in music are like that. They're just set in stone and you're gonna have to deal with it. But the real reason the names don't make any sense is because they all play in the same pitch range. So the highest note on a soprano ukulele is the same as the highest note on a concert ukulele, which is the same as the highest note on a tenor ukulele, which goes against the reason that those terms even exist. Now, a baritone is sometimes tuned down so you can actually play lower notes than the rest of the ukuleles. You don't have to tune it down though. I have my baritone ukulele tuned up to the standard ukulele notes. There was a ukulele maker, I think, who said, I don't make baritones, I make ukuleles. And I kind of agree, because when you tune down a baritone ukulele, you're pretty much just making it an acoustic guitar. So aside from the weird baritone anomaly, the names don't really mean anything about the pitch. What they mean is the size. Baritones are bigger, sopranos are smaller. One difference you get with sizes is tone, which means that the pitch is the same, but the quality of the notes is different. Like a soprano will have a brighter sound than a concert. That might be kind of hard to understand at first, like how can 2 notes be the same, but also be different? And honestly, I wouldn't worry about it too much at first. What I would think about is how the size affects the playability. Like, I don't have a soprano, but if you have a soprano ukulele, you'll be playing it like this. Whereas a baritone, you're playing more like this. Really, I think most people who are starting should get one of the 2 in the middle, the tenor or the concert. They're not too big and not too small, and I think that's why you see a lot of those for sale. Get a soprano if you want to go for that big fat guy with a tiny ukulele vibe, but personally I think they're pretty annoying to play. Too tiny for me. I have a baritone and a tenor ukulele, and you can see the size difference. You see that? And the reason I have 2 ukuleles isn't necessarily for the size difference, it's more so that I can tune them differently. So let's talk about ukulele tuning. Most ukuleles are tuned like this: G, C, E, A. And you'll notice that the high string is a higher pitch than the ones below it. Usually string instruments like violin and guitar go from lowest pitch to highest pitch, like this. That is super out of tune. But ukulele said, fuck that system, and it gives it a totally unique sound. Something like this is something you can't really replicate on any other instrument. I can't even replicate it on my baritone. So it sounds similar, but what separates it is that on my baritone, I tune this top string down 1 octave. I will explain what an octave is in a later video, I promise. I like the ability to have these lower notes while keeping these 3 strings the same. But in exchange, I lose that sound of having the high string on the top. But I have 2 ukuleles, so I get the best of both worlds, which really isn't that hard to do. You just go on the internet and buy another ukulele. So that's the different ukulele sizes and their names, which don't make any sense. You probably already have a ukulele, and I'm sure you've already read about all the different sizes and seen everything about the different tunings. So this was probably a total waste of time for you, and I am so sorry. Oh, and I forgot to mention alternate tunings. You can tune any string instrument however you want, and there are pretty good reasons for doing that. But I wouldn't mess around with alternate tunings at first. I would just stick with the standard tuning, which is G, C, E, A. Okay, good luck, have fun.